Good evening and welcome to today's episode of the Private Property Podcast. I'm your host, Sibs Matiela, and we're here to talk about all things property because privateproperty.co.za loves to connect you to the heart of property, and that's what we do on this podcast. Today we are calling on all property enthusiasts. The Property Show is back and we are here to tell you all about it. But before I get to today's guest, take a look at this.
This year, we're back in real life and virtual with content generated in our Metaverse studio. We've designed the exhibition space to replicate the world's most popular property game and added in activities for the whole family, including an indoor park and play area. The game board is divided into 4 journeys, namely First-Time Homebuyers Boulevard, Investment Avenue, Sellers Street, and Renters Road. Visit thepropertyshow.co.za for more information and to get your tickets today. The Property Show 2022, 27th to the 28th of August at the Sandton Convention Center. No matter where you are on your property journey, we've gathered the experts.
That's right, folks. You heard it. All roads lead to the Property Show happening on the 27th and the 28th of August, which is not this weekend, it's next weekend at the Sandton Convention Center. If you'd like to get your hands on a ticket, click on the link in the comment section and it should lead you to one of those doodads where you can click and then put your card details in and then buy a ticket. Or if you're lucky enough and interact the most, you might win a ticket at the end of this episode or the next episode of the Private Property Podcast with myself, Sibs Matiela. Today we are speaking about the Property Show with none other than Kasamba Mandondo from Private Property herself. Kasamba, welcome.
Thanks, Sibs. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm finally glad to be here in studio. Thanks for having me.
Yay. Tell me about your role at Private Property.
So at Private Property, what am I? They told me that I could make my own title up.
Okay.
Marketing and comms is what we do. I think everything... Private Property likes to talk. We're a brand that really wants to be vocal and conversational, so the role of marketing and comms is super important in the business, and I'm there to pull that along.
Okay, so over the years, Private Property has helped a lot of people, especially first-time home buyers, property investors, and that kind of thing. Could you tell me more about the portal and Private Property in general and what your mandate really is?
So I think the first thing that's really important to understand is that Private Property is a property portal. So what we facilitate is all transactions, so buying and selling, you can come and look for what you need on the Private Property portal. What we don't do is sell property, and I think you've touched on this in previous episodes.
I was very surprised to learn that, but when you think about it, it absolutely makes sense. It's not like Private Property owns all of the houses in South Africa and they're like, come get this one.
No, because I would have taken one out the back of the inn already by now. But yeah, so I think really that portal understanding is really important. But through that, I think what we've realized is that there's so much need in the property industry. So people don't just require a place to look. What they also want is, while I'm looking, please help me out. Let me know, what am I even looking for? So through all the years that Private Property's been around, I think what we've really realized is that a trusted name in property is something that people want. Being a portal, we are objective, so it's not like we're aligned to any particular agent or any particular bank or anything like that. So we're able to give real objective points of view and advice. So I think that's also in terms of how we help first-time home buyers and investors, is that we facilitate that real kind of property education.
I'm glad you brought up the first-time home buyers, because that would be my next question, is how exactly do you help first-time buyers navigate? Because it's a lot of information to take in. It's a lot of things that you need, paperwork and things that you never, forms you never thought.
Money you never thought you needed.
Hey! So how do you help during that process?
So beyond obviously having the kinds of properties that are attractive to first-time home buyers on the site, and I think we're quite deliberate about making sure that we gather as much of that as possible, we also facilitate education through, we have a first-time home buyers masterclass, which is a physical event that goes around the country that you can come through to, and it's a full day experience where you kind of go through each step and you really kind of understand and are able to ask questions. The other way we do it is obviously through shows like this, the First Time Homebuyers Show. You know, we really want to be able to put the right information out there to help people navigate it in a way that they understand. A lot of times property education comes across and it is very highfalutin language and it's full of these financial terms. And it's like, okay, you can't feel stupid making a decision that costs you R500,000. You have to be sure. So at Private Property, we really just want you to be sure about what you're doing, and there's no such thing as a stupid question.
So would you say that's why you guys are doing the show? Like what is the objective now of the property show?
So the property show, that's part of the objective, definitely. I think first-time home buying is a large section of the market. We really want to be able to give people that comfort in terms of that huge decision. But also, there are other ways that people interact with in property, and there isn't necessarily a place outside of the property show where you can come and find out all of that information. So I might not know I'm a property investor. I just have a flat, and then I got married and I let my flat out, and someone says, you're a property investor? And I say, no, that's fancy stuff. I'm not that. Actually, you are. And what does that mean? How does the act affect you? How do different things affect you? If you're renting, what advice do you have? What kind of information do you need if you're looking to renovate? So there's a lot of ways. We all hopefully live in a house. Those of us who don't should. And so what does all of those conversations, how do they all play out? And that's what the property show is about. It's really about bringing all of that together.
So what can a first-time home buyer specifically expect from the property show?
So what we have, because we've learned over the years that education is such an important part of the property journey, we've got 3 dedicated masterclass pods within the exhibition environment. And one of them is the First-Time Home Buyers Masterclass pod. And what we've done is we've gathered a lot of speakers who have a lot of experience in the industry, as well as some people who you may know just from, daily life, talking about their property journeys. So as a first-time home buyer, I'm able to come through in the morning, the 27th or the 28th, and sit through a series of topics and select topics that are of interest to me, where I can really start to unpack the things that have confused me for so long.
Will there be, a lot of people would be joining virtually or digitally. So obviously they might not be able to have a hands-on approach, as in physically being at the property show, but will the same resources be available to them on the digital platforms?
So absolutely. I think, there's benefits to both. I think we've learned now in 2022 that you can either do things virtually or you can do them physically. There's no kind of, there shouldn't be any kind of restrictions on how you want to participate. So our virtual platform has got the mechanics for you to ask questions. There are Q&As. There is all of the content that you will see at the property show live will be online. The in-person experience is obviously different. It's more experiential. There's chances for me to actually go up to a speaker afterwards and ask a question, that kind of thing. But definitely, if you join virtually, you'll get everything that you need.
That's amazing. So obviously buying a home for the first time is a very nerve-wracking, expensive, just difficult decision to make. So what gems would you say would come out of the property show for these first-time home buyers?
So I think they're really interesting conversations around things like tax, understanding what are your peripheral expenses, how do I know if I can afford something, what do I do if one bank rejects me, where do I go, what do I do? So those answers are really things that people can start to interrogate in their own way. And I think that's what's great about an in-person experience like the property show, is because what you're able to do is to go up to a stand and ask someone and say, hey, listen, this is my personal situation. What advice can you give me? So it's not just generic, it's also, you've got the ability to take your individual situations and get your questions answered.
How will the private property show, or rather the property show, help investors?
Well, I suppose, and I'm pausing because I'm referring to my previous point. An investor, what does it mean to be an investor? So I think we can start there.
Yeah.
Also unpacking some commonly held myths around, what is a good investment, what's not. Is it, are we buying, are we selling? If I sell my house at this point, what does that mean? Should I rent it out? Should I invest in student accommodation? Should I invest in a hotel? There's a lot around property investment that's more than just getting a flat and renting it out and managing it yourself.
It's a portfolio, right?
It's a complete portfolio. So really understanding when you hear about these are the strategies around property investing, you can start to say, okay, that one sounds like it aligns more to me. I didn't know that was a vehicle. So those are really the things I think at the property show that people can really look forward to, even if I'm not in that space right now. But I have got this ambition that I do want to at some day add property into my financial portfolio, that's the kind of stuff you need to hear.
Do you think it's like once you pop, you can't stop?
I hope so, because then we can all sit with 17 properties and be moguls. But yeah, I think I think once you pop with the right information, you don't need to stop. I think then you can make all the choices you want.
I love that so much. So you've got Sellers Street, Renters Road, what is it? Investor Avenue are some of the areas that you're going to have at the property show. What do each of these have to offer?
So I think what we realize is that people want to know certain bits of information. So if you have everything property all at once, it's really overwhelming. So what we've done is we've segmented the show. So if I'm a renter, it's quite clear to me when I walk in, there's Renter Road. Okay, let me go down there and find out things. Let me find out what it means to rent from an agent. Let me see the exhibitors who are in that space. Let me understand what this journey's about. And then I'll turn the corner and I'm on Investor Avenue and I say, okay, this is interesting. Or if I'm an investor and I'm coming through for that specific information. But it allows people to first walk the road that they want to and then explore around and outside.
It's like a streamlined sort of process.
Yeah.
So it's not a maze.
It's not a maze.
It's very clearly marked and demarcated roads.
Correct. The transactions are mazes enough. We want to make this as easy as possible.
Cool. So an exhibition like this is obviously a great place for property, let's say, investors and enthusiasts and people who are ambitious about building their portfolios, whether or not they've started yet, for them to be able to sort of mix and network. How would you say networking, in the hierarchy of things? Is it super important, or can you just be a lone ranger, Chuck Norris, and go about everything just on your lonesome?
You're giving me an idea for the next property show. I saw one, there's a makeup store, and depending on the color of the basket you pick, they'll either come and help you or leave you alone.
Yeah.
But both are possible.
It's like those parties for like single people, and then like you wear green if you're single, and then you wear red if you're taken.
Exactly. So I think at the property show, absolutely you can just come and browse and be super casual about it. But also, we've got such great exhibitors and such great sponsors, and what they really want to do at the show is they want to interact with you. They want to help you understand. No one is there for a super hard sell. Get this now, buy me, don't go to the next door place. By all means, walk around the show, come back. If you have a question and I can help you, that's what I'm here for. So networking between attendees and exhibitors is really important. And also what happens is in the pods, and we also have areas where you can have a coffee, you can take your kids, standing around, and you can feel free to just ask the next person, so what's your story? Where did you go? What do you like? Because I think we want to create that environment where it's a property conversation writ large over the convention center.
So, a lot of people, the questions they'll ask will usually be about the kind of rights that you have. Just so you know what the limitations are. Sometimes a landlord threatens you with something and you just think there's something off about this. It doesn't seem like that's a legal thing to do. And I think the rights of tenants and landlords and landladies and land they thems are also important. So I know that you'll be giving out that kind of advice as well at the property show on the 27th and 28th of August 2022 at the Sandton Convention Center. Could you give me some of the rights, like the commonly asked, like what are my rights as a tenant, what are my rights as a landlord, lady, they, them?
I think what's really important to understand is when you rent a property, it's a legal financial agreement. You're in partnership effectively as a tenant and as a landlord. So what happens in that, there's rights and there's responsibilities. So as a tenant, for example, you have the right to get a statement. You have a right to have a lease agreement, which you sign and you completely understand. And thereafter, once I've paid my deposit, I have the right to see where that deposit is sitting. It should be in an interest-bearing account, and I should be able to get those statements and check and see how that is doing. On the other hand, as a tenant, I have the responsibility to make sure that I'm up to date with my rental as per the lease agreement. I have got the responsibility to look after the property. So I think where a lot of friction comes in is where we don't really understand that there's a complete balance between that. So as a landlord, I've got the right to expect that my property is kept in a normal wear and tear, but I can't come in there and someone made a fire on the floor in the living room. I have got the right to ask the tenant to move out if I see that there is a lot of destruction to the property. We won't go there. That's a very fractious topic. I am regretting that I said that one. But I've got the right to expect that what I've put the property up for is what I'm getting into my bank account every month. So I think really if we look at it and, you look at it as that balance, as opposed to what am I supposed to do and this guy shouldn't tell me that. I think, there's compassion on each side that should come into the transaction.
Yeah, unless you took really great care of the apartment. I'm not talking about me, like, and then suddenly the landlord didn't want to give your deposit back. Like,
yeah, see, that's your right.
See, and that's when you go to the ombudsman. But we'll discuss it. We'll discuss this further at the property show. Okay, so 27th, 28th August, not this weekend, next weekend.
Yes.
What are the prizes that are up for grabs? Tell me about the fun stuff. How do I get a ticket? When I get there, can I win stuff? Am I going to get like a voucher for like 50% off a property today? Or like free shipping of a swimming pool, a jacuzzi?
All of the above. So you can get the tickets on www.thepropertyshow.coza. They're 180 Rand for a day pass. So if you want to come both days, talk to me. I can give you a discount on 2 tickets at one time.
Yeah.
The virtual tickets are 100 Rand, and they're also available on the same site. Once you buy the ticket, you'll be furnished with a link and you'll be updated, and all of that will come through. At the show, I think what's really great is you bring your kids. There's a kids zone with like some dedicated childminders. Your kid will be safe. It's not like we're just going to let them run amok. You can win some really great prizes like, can I say this? I don't know if my private property team is going to kill me.
Same.
But I think that there's inverters up for grabs.
Stop it!
Yeah.
I need one. How many?
See, now they will kill me. I think it's 2. I think there's some really cool stuff. I mean, and like I said, we've got great sponsors and exhibitors, and they've put up some amazing prizes. I think watch this space. We'll be making some announcements soon.
I'm so excited. I mean, I think we all need a free inverter every...
Yeah, I think that I want to do kind of like a Ninja Warrior to win the inverter. So you have to really work for it. I'm kidding. Just buy the ticket, come through to the show.
Not the Amazing Race and Survivor for an inverter, sweetie.
No. Come to the show. We'll take care of you.
We're already in the Hunger Games. It's too much.
It got a bit real.
Listen, is there like wine for like the people who don't have children? I don't have a child to bring. I'm not going to go kidnap one. So
yeah, you can just do your thing. Order there. I think you might have to keep it a bit of a secret or in a very specific location. There's a urban park, so you could take place of that kind of an urban landscape sitting with a paper bag bottle.
I love this. I cannot wait to see you there. The property show happening on the 27th and the 28th of August. Not this coming weekend.
The next
weekend. Kasama's going to be there. If you find her, this is what she looks like. Do a nice smile. This is what she looks like. If you need a hookup for whatever, you find this lady. She got you.
I got you guys.
She got you. Listen, it is time for the competition moment. One of our lucky viewers, or the viewer who has interacted the most this week, is going to win themselves a whopping $500 in cold hard cash and a ticket to the property show that we've been talking all about today. And that person is Peteni Mia. Yay! Congratulations to you. You've got $500 on its way to you and a ticket to the property show, not this weekend, next weekend, and we will see you there. And if you don't have children, then find me and we can have some fun together. That was today's episode of the Private Property Podcast with me, your host, Sibs Matiela. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you tomorrow.
This year, we're back in real life and virtual with content generated in our Metaverse studio. We've designed the exhibition space to replicate the world's most popular property game and added in activities for the whole family, including an indoor park and play area. The game board is divided into 4 journeys, namely First-Time Homebuyers Boulevard, Investment Avenue, Sellers Street, and Renters Road. Visit thepropertyshow.co.za for more information and to get your tickets today. The Property Show 2022, 27th to the 28th of August at the Sandton Convention Center. No matter where you are on your property journey, we've gathered the experts.